everyone. In this video, we're going to look into composite function. By definition, composite function is a function that is written inside another function. So pretty much this is done by substituting or plugging in one of the function into another function. So let's take this example right here. We are given f of x is equal to 3x minus 5, and the other function is g of x is equal to x plus 7. So this first example that we have here, we are asked to find f of g of x. So this is read as f of g of x. So pretty much we can actually rewrite this as f of g of x. So these two notations are just the same. So what's going on here? I'm just gonna go ahead and rewrite the original function that are given to us here down below so we can understand better how do we compose a function. I wrote the two function right here. So what's going on here is that if we say f of g of x, this is the one that is plugged in, or this is the one that is on the inside part of the function. So that's inside. And this one, the f of x right here, is actually the outside. So pretty much this g of x that we have here, this g of x will be placed inside the f of x. So this will be the inside, and then we put that into the f of x. So we can go ahead and rewrite this as, so f of g of x is actually this function right here. That's the one that we're gonna use. So that's 3 parentheses minus 5. And then again, the one that we put into the x is the g of x, which is x plus 7. So I'm going to write x plus 7 right here. And then from here, we can distribute the 3 to each terms inside the parentheses. So this would come out. So then we combine like terms. So we have 21 and negative 5. So the final answer for this would be 3x plus 16. So this is our f of g of x. Okay, at this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. I'm just gonna rewrite this two functions right here so we know which one goes to which. Okay, since we have the g of x on the outside, that means this f of x will be placed inside the g of x. So that means this 3x minus 5 will be placed into the x of the g of x. So that means we can go ahead and rewrite this as, okay, so I make this x into a parenthesis because I give way for the f of x, which is 3x minus 5. So I plugged it in here. Okay, so the g of f of x is 3x plus 2. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next example right here. So we are given f of x is equal to 2x plus 3 and g of x is equal to 5x squared plus 7. So we're supposed to find for the g of f of x. So then we can go ahead and write this function right here so we know which one goes to which. Since we say that this is g of f of x, that means the f of x will be placed inside the g of x. So that means this 2x plus 3 will be put into the x of the g of x. So that means we can go ahead and rewrite this as, okay, so then we can go ahead and use the area model for this so that we can multiply these two. Okay, so after we multiply 2x plus 3 by itself twice, we get this 4x squared plus 2x, 12x plus 9, and that's the one that we plug in here. So again, this value that we have here comes from this one. That's the one that we got over there. So then we can go ahead and distribute the 5 to each of the terms inside the parentheses. So this is our g of f of x. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so again, we write, since there are no other functions involved here, it's only f of x. So I'm just going to rewrite the f of x here. Okay, so it says that it's f of x. That means this f of x will be placed inside itself to the x. So then we can go ahead and rewrite this as... So I give way for the f of x to be placed into the x, which is itself. So that would be 2x plus 3. So then we go ahead and distribute the 2 to each of the terms inside the parentheses. Okay, so the f of x is equal to 4x plus 9. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next example right here. So in this example, we will be evaluating composite function. So we are given two functions here, f of x and g of x. And then in here, we are supposed to find f of g of 4. So in order that we can determine the value for this, in order that we can evaluate this, first thing that we're going to do is we determine what is g of 4. So I'm going to show the work down here for the g of 4. Okay, so we are going to use the g of x here, but instead of putting x, we're going to use 4 to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and write the g of x since we're solving for this part only. So we're using the g of x. Okay, since we say that it's g of 4, so I'm going to write g of 4 is equal to negative 3. Then I will put the x as 4 and then plus 7. So again, the x was 4. That's the g of x. So I change all the x's to 4. So then this would come out. The g of 4 would be, that's a negative 12 plus 7 is negative 5. So this negative 5 is actually the g of 4. So then we can go ahead and rewrite this as f of negative 5, because this g of 4 was actually negative 5. Again, this is g of 4. So I solved it at the bottom. The g of 4 was negative 5. So instead of writing g of 4 right here, we go ahead and write that as negative 5 because we already evaluated it. The g of 4 was already evaluated down here, and that's equal to negative 5. So then we go ahead and use the f of x, which is 3x minus 5. So in this case right here, we are going to plug in the since we say f of x was negative 5, the x was negative 5, so we plug in the negative 5 to the x here. So this would come out 3 parentheses minus 5. Again, the x was negative 5, so I put the negative 5 right there. So then we go ahead and have negative 15 minus 5 would be negative 20. So this is our f of negative 5. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, we evaluate f of negative 2 first. So I will show the work down here. So for f of negative 2, so we're using the f of x. So that would be f of x is equal to 3x minus 5. So I wrote that down here. And then since we say that it's f of negative 2, so that would be f of negative 2, which means that this x will become a negative 2. So that's 3 times negative 2 minus 5. Okay, so then we go ahead and do the math here. So this is negative 6 minus 5. So the f of negative 2 is negative 11. So this negative 11 will be equal to f of negative 2. So then we can go ahead and rewrite this as g of negative 11. Because again, the f of negative 2 was solved already. It's equal to negative 11. So this becomes g of negative 11. So then we go ahead and use the g of x, which is negative 3x plus 7. And we plug in the x, which is negative 11. So the g of negative 11 is 40. So pretty much this one right here, f of g of 4 is actually equal to negative 20. And this g of f of negative 2 is equal to 40. Did you get 40 for the second problem right here? Good. Perfect. Now, let's move on to the next example right here. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. So this can be rewritten as f of g of 2. So they're just the same notation. And so we are supposed to solve for the g of 2 first. So I'm just going to show the work down here for the g of 2. Okay, so the g of 2 is 7. So then we can go ahead and rewrite this as f of, instead of g of 2, it's 7. So I go ahead and write f of 7. So then from here, we can go ahead and plug this into the f of x, which is 3x minus 5. So we plug in the 7 into the x. So this would be 3 parentheses negative 5 or minus 5. So then again, the x was 7. So I put it in there. So 3 times 7 is 21 minus 5. That would be 16. So f of 7 is 16, or pretty much this is actually the value for f of g of 2 is 16. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, we evaluate the f of negative 3 first. So I'm going to show the work down here. Okay, so the f of negative 3 is negative 14. So then we go ahead and plug this f of negative 3 will become negative 14. So this would come out g of negative 14. And that is equal to, we're using the g of x. So then I'm just going to rewrite that up here. Okay, so the value for the g of negative 14, or that is actually equivalent to g of f of negative 3, is actually 167. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!